Hello all and welcome back. I hope you're all having a brilliant weekend. Lots of different stuff to cover again today as there's some more bearish signals happening in the cryptocurrency markets across the board. However, to juxtapose that, we do have some more good news surrounding the Hedera ecosystem as well as the developments on top of that. Those being the decentralized applications, the decentralized finance applications, as well as deeper rooted ecosystem developments into gaming and the metaverse and the like. On screen is a meme that I found rather amusing as it resonates quite deeply with myself at the moment and probably resonates with a lot of you guys. Buying the dip, but it just keeps on dipping and it doesn't appear as if there's any end in sight concurrently. Hopefully we do start seeing some bullish sentiment return back to the price action of Bitcoin and the wider altcoin space. However, it must be said that we are still teetering on a knife edge when it comes to whether we go up or down. And unfortunately, it does look like we may see further legs towards the downside. If we actually look at the total cryptocurrency market cap at the moment, somewhere above 2.3 trillion is where we were at in November of 2021. If we scroll or fast forward across to today, we are sub £1 trillion in the market. This is obviously showing a 50 to 60% decrease in the overall market. So there's a ton of liquidations that have happened over a sort of 6-month time span. And we could still see this further reduce as we head lower in the future. This is obviously showing signs that we may be entering a crypto winter. And I just felt it would be necessary to reiterate to you guys that make sure you're effectively investing in projects that you have conviction in for the long term. History has taught us that during these crypto winters, a lot of coins and projects themselves do not survive because they lack the demand or the future vision in order to regain control effectively when we enter a new alt season. Interesting tweet here as well from Bob Lucas over on Twitter, basically talking about the last week's price action. So weak and not good look here for Bitcoin, no urgency with a primary trend indicating lower. Should have seen at least a rally in the early cycle, coming of some capitulation, stay safe. Effectively what he's saying here is we should have effectively continued trading sideways for a longer period than we have. And these early red flags are showing that we could be moving further to the downside. If we talk about moving further to the downside, we have two different key levels to really watch here. The first one being around $23,000 to $24,000. If we did fall lower, this would be the first point of interest to watch. Hopefully we could maintain this $23,000 to $24,000, create a new support level off this resistance, and then head back towards the upside, potentially seeing a blow off top because we've never seen one during this cycle. Alternatively, if we fall straight through the 23 to 24k level, we definitely could be coming down as low as $18,000 to $19,000, which would be very, very bad indeed, and we could see further liquidations take place. Although looking at another chart, the Bitcoin USD longs, this is very large sort of trading wallets over on Bitfinex, so whales if you will, that are purchasing long contracts set to expire 6, 12, 18 months out into the future. This is very, very positive as we've seen in the past. When these longs spike massively like this, typically there has been a bottom in sight. So the whales are pointing at that they believe Bitcoin is not going to fall any further. The cryptocurrency markets are somewhere near the bottom and they are buying up these long contracts, waiting for that reversal to take place, and further legs up towards the green side are coming in the future. So again, as I've kind of said, it's 50-50 at the moment realistically as to what happens, and the markets really are teetering in the balance. Talking about Hedera, many barriers to entry for dApps that they face in their early stages. Hedera.org aims to remove these hurdles, creating early stage products built on top of Hedera and connecting them with support, communities, and decentralized funding to accelerate growth. I've touched on Headstarter in the past. However, there is a new sort of relationship article here published on the Hedera website. Headstarter is the Hedera ecosystem enabler, a crucial component in DeFi. It helps pave the way towards mainstream adoption and the much anticipated exponential growth of retail-focused dApps. The challenge being Headstarter recognizes there are a vast number of early-stage products and projects on the Hedera network that are struggling to secure the support, resources, and promotion needed to succeed. Additionally, these projects need a decentralized approach to secure the funding required to help them establish their project in the community and to help lead and mainstream adoption. Headstarter is dedicated to supporting the usage growth and DApp development on the Hedera network. Headstarter strives to define a clear path for early stage projects to scale up by providing accelerator level support every step of the way, from idea to listing, whilst offering these projects public visibility and a streamlined, decentralized funding process through Headstarter's own decentralized fundraising platform built on top of Hedera. Obviously, this is very similar to Hedera Starter, who I've had the team on the channel several times in the past. Why am I talking about this? It's because they've recently just dropped another teaser video saying the wait is almost over. They are looking to launch very soon. DeFi is coming to Hedera. So we could see one of the first launch pads go live. As mentioned before, this massively reduces barriers to entry and also allows a lot of those developers effectively to switch to Hedera from other layer 0/layer 1 blockchains or DLTs. Speaking in terms of decentralized finance and dApps, HSUITE is something that I've covered on the channel many times in the past. I think there is still a small amount of tokens left in their initial stage funding, and they have just released another preview video of their upcoming HSUITE dApp. The video goes over the introduction, the launchpad feature, DEX feature, liquidity pool feature, as well as their non-fungible liquidity features. Now, rather interestingly, if I actually just quickly go over here and where I've got it paused, we can see the swap protocol, which is, I'm sure, where many of you are interested in general. And we can see the pool here. So that he's swapping between HBAR and HSUITE. And I just wanted to cover the fee structure here. So we can see the fee at the moment appear to be denominated in HSUITE. So this gives HSUITE a use case in general for the platform. It will help facilitate those transactions over on the decentralized exchange. And not only that, I believe from this video, they do mention that the fees will be somewhere around 1 HSUITE or 0.03% of the total transaction value. So that kind of gives you some indication of what's going on. We can also see on the left, they are in testnet mode and they are utilizing Hashpack. And on the right-hand side is the console for the web page, effectively showing the different nodes they're using and how this smart node is facilitating these rather than smart contracts. Of course, them using smart nodes instead of smart contracts, which I have touched on many times in many different videos. If you guys want to get involved in the giveaway, MatchAce in partnership with Source Swap Finance are giving away 4,000 Source, picking 4 winners for 1,000 Source each. To enter, like the tweet, retweet it, tag a friend, and make sure you're following both MatchAce and Source Swap Labs. Good way to get involved with the project and earn some Source. As I said before, potentially a very lucrative token over in the Hedera ecosystem, particularly when their DEX drops. Of course, there are many different use cases of the Source token, and that project is seriously breaking the limits of what is possible at the moment within or on Hedera. So massive amounts of potential over there. Get involved if you haven't got any yourself. Interesting tweet from HBAR to the moon. Solana again having more issues. Solana is now losing track of time. So how is anyone taking this network seriously anymore? Migrate your Solana dApps over onto Hedera and you will never have any issues with time, consensus, performance, security, and availability of the network. We can see what he was replying to here. Solana's blockchain clock has lost track of time, now running 30 minutes behind via Osato Nomeo. Obviously, this is incredibly bad for a DLT or blockchain in general, potentially as a lot of transactions obviously require timestamping to be accurate, as well as facilitate very important functions on top of these chains. Putting this into perspective, if Hedera had Solana's market cap of $14.3 billion, 1 HBAR would be worth in the realm of 70 cents. And of course, Solana itself has fallen quite dramatically over the past 6 months or so. It was a much higher valued project in general way back then. Hedera has so much potential, it's not even funny. We are sitting on a gold mine. News just in as well, Luna 2.0 is already down 80% after launching a few hours ago. Mentioned this in a couple of the last videos, saying that my thoughts were Loon C, or the previous Luna chain would be going to 0, and I also believe the new Luna fork would be going to 0, and it appears as if it's already doing that. As I'd mentioned, make sure you're staying clear of those, in my personal opinion. Some interesting stuff to come out of the Hedera hackathon with the number of projects that were submitted. If I scroll to the bottom here, 118 different projects for decentralized applications as well as DeFi were dropped during this hackathon, and they're all visible over on this webpage. I'll try and leave this link down in the description. What's really interesting to see here is the sheer volume of projects that have been built and submitted to this hackathon, but also how diverse they are. If you just flick through some of these pages, there are so many different projects that have been built entering different ecosystems. Health miners, behavioral science and digital therapy. You've got Hashbook here, which is open source limit order books for developers. Cyclops, DEX and DeFi with collateralized loans. Daggle, a triple entry accounting system on the Hedera distributed ledger. Tries re-energizing the gig economy. Open Sigil, zero trust encryption made easy on top of Hedera. Contraption.js, a utility library working with smart contracts on Hedera, and then even stuff along the lines of Hedera notification services, one-stop solutions for notifications built on top of Hedera. So many different projects here, and it's great to see that effectively the sky is the limit for capability on Hedera, and I truly believe that this will be one of the #1 players in the layer 0/layer 1 space going into the future. Talking about big players, ISO20022 adoption has been something that's spoken about a lot recently and has seen a lot of different headlines. The timeline being 2022, a key year for the community as we continue to support the journey towards ISO 20022 to go live for cross-border payments and reporting, as well as coexistence starting from November. So in line with the adoption timeline agreed by our community, Swift will enable ISO 20022 messages for cross-border payments and cash reporting businesses starting from August of this year on an opt-in basis, and November 2022 for general availability. There will be a 3-year period of coexistence for MT and MX, allowing early adopters to benefit from the ISO richer structured data, as well as banks to adopt it at their own pace. They'll help facilitate the interoperability of MX and MT with our central inflow translation service. Now, why is this important? Many of you may have seen on social media and different news outlets, they talk about ISO 20022 coins or projects being those that will really thrive going into the future. Now, for those of you that can't remember, here is a sort of rundown of the different projects that do support ISO 20022. We've got Ripple, we've got XDC or Xinfin, Algorand being another one, and Stellar being the final. Of course, all of these could benefit very seriously from this ISO standard moving forward, especially as Swift begins to get phased out in favor of this ISO standard. However, I just wanted to reiterate a phase previously that I have used on the channel, which is the question itself is actually wrong or ignorant. Hedera is a layer 0 or 1, particularly similar to other chains such as Algorand and Xinfin. No true layer 0 or layer 1 is actually ISO 20022 compliant, regardless of what some folk might claim. Since ISO 20022 is specifically regarding financial services, which is actually an application of a layer 0 or layer 1. Therefore, things built on top of Hedera might, will, and probably should be ISO 20022 compliant. But to say that Hedera or any other layer 0 or layer 1 is natively ISO 20022 compliant is actually misleading or a sheer oversimplification. It would be more accurate to say that Hedera is ISO 20022 compliant, i.e. Hedera complies to the ISO 20022 compliance itself, or in other words, it can actually support compliant solutions being built on top of it. Hopefully this makes some more sense to you guys, as it is a bit of a sort of convoluted subject at the moment on a lot of these social medias. Now, XRP being the one that's spoken about a lot, XRP itself is not actually a layer 0 or layer 1. So yes, it is ISO 20022 compliant. In fact, XRP itself could be built on top of Hedera. And this might be a type of solution that we see in the future. XRP's sole and primary purpose, alongside XLM, for example, is to facilitate remittance payments and microtransactions. You cannot natively build DApp's decentralized finance and ecosystems on top of that chain. It is built for a specific purpose, and hence the reason it being ISO20022 compliant. Hedera itself can facilitate types of applications to provide that ISO compliance. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. Anyway, guys, that wraps up this video. As I said, at the moment, lots of different news floating about in the crypto space. We will be watching very eagerly next week to see what happens with the markets in general. Hopefully, we start to see some confidence build back up into these markets. I'm still stacking as much HBAR as I possibly can going on into the future. Lots more videos coming out, particularly on some of these decentralized applications that we're seeing being built. And of course, I've got that interview with Stada's team next week talking about their V2 launch. If you've got any questions, make sure you leave those drop down in the description. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. Drop a comment if you've got something to say. I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.